Phil Spencer recently met with Activision Blizzard teams to lay out the roadmap for the future. And let's just say things might be looking up. Find out all about that and much more up next. What up, guys? This is Kalo, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Level Up. Alright, so before we get into today's video, I want to shout out the Twitch channel. The link to that is in the video description down below, because tomorrow we're going to be doing our first Phasmophobia stream, and I can't wait. Also, before we dive into today's conversation, by the time this video goes live, we would have seen that Xbox partner showcase, so be on the lookout for a video on that tomorrow. But hey, the Xbox higher-ups have been making the rounds recently, visiting various teams throughout Blizzard Entertainment. The purpose of these visits is to figure out what exactly each team wants for their future. And this creative freedom is what many have hoped for. And just speaking as an Xbox fan here, the addition of all these various titles coming to Game Pass is great. But one thing I personally wanted for all of these studios is to have the ability to unlock their full potential. Now, speaking in regards to Activision Blizzard, I think it's safe to say Blizzard didn't have that freedom under Activision, but on the flip side of all that, the games that they made sold at record highs throughout that whole partnership. Studios like Toys for Bob and Beanox come to mind, who existed under the Activision umbrella and created some great games, like Crash 4 and Crash Team Racing. And one would be led to believe those studios would be rewarded for their success, right? Well, as a result of their newfound success, they were inserted into the greater Call of Duty machine for Activision. Because, let's face it, at the end of the day, that is the big moneymaker for that developer. And it's been pretty well documented that Activision wanted to continue to churn out Call of Duty titles year over year. And this mundane routine is seemingly coming to an end, seeing how Phil Spencer recently spoke about how he wants to empower these newly acquired studios and have them work on what they actually want to do, which would result in more passion projects from each of these studios. Now, this rather interesting report came out from Windows Central, highlighting how Xbox is not referring to Blizzard as Activision Blizzard. Now, this might not be as big of a deal as I'm making it out to be, but the thing here is it probably could be. This could be a direct message to the Blizzard team from Xbox, basically stating that Blizzard is no longer under that firm grasp of Activision, and they're now free to do what they want. Now, OG Blizzard fans know before the Activision merger, Blizzard was at the top of their game. But again, this is what Xbox does well for their studios. They give the studios creative control and the budget to accompany that vision, and then they just let them get to work. Now, this isn't me claiming every game they'll spawn will be a 10 out of 10. That simply isn't possible. More or less, it's a great sign coming from a group of studios who had their fair share of workplace problems and controversy over the past few years, and they're finally getting out of that rut. And as per this report from Windows Central, Xbox leadership view the Blizzard studio as the Pixar of gaming. Now, that is very, very high praise. And I might just want to cool those jets just a little bit there. And just to kind of keep this in mind, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, any changes that are being made right now won't be seen for a very long time, seeing how it takes a pretty damn long time to make video games. But again, this is a promising sign for the future of Blizzard, and all of the accompanying studios, which can spawn at the very least a pretty diverse portfolio of games driven by passion and, most importantly, creativity. And all of this backs the claims made by Satya Nadella recently, where he said Xbox is doubling down as being a game producer and publisher. Quote, "If I look at it, the amount of time people allocate to gaming is going up, and Gen Z is doing more of that. The way games are made, the way games are delivered is changing radically, whether it's mobile or consoles or PC or even the cloud. So we're looking forward to really double down both as a game producer and publisher. Now we'll be one of the largest game publishers, and also as a company that's building platforms for it. But with all that being said, I'm going to pass this question off to you guys. What are some of the things you are expecting from this ABK and Xbox partnership? For me, I'm directly looking at Call of Duty. Now, the reason why I bring up Call of Duty is because I see how big of a game it is, and it makes a lot of money. But the one thing I really want to focus on here is there's a lot of stuff left on the table for this franchise, at least in my opinion, and I think Xbox can finally unlock that. But that about does it here. I've been Kalo. I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.